Welcome to another Minecraft video. Today I'm here to show you guys how to turn a hopper minecart into a mobile item sorter. So basically the thing goes through your farms and it's only gonna pick up one specific item, no matter how many items are available. If it's not the right type, it's not gonna get it. And yeah, then it's going to deposit everything into a chest at an unloading station. To quickly explain the entire setup over here, if you watch Tango Tech, this might seem familiar, and this is also where I got the idea from. He made a setup where he fills up the inventory of any of his farmer villagers with seeds, meaning that the farmer cannot pick up any wheat anymore, and that's just gonna be on the ground until it either decays or one of your minecarts comes by and just picks up the entire thing. So it's now only gonna pick up the wheat right here. The problem is if you don't turn this into an item sorter situation and you let the minecart pick up the seeds, then the villager can run out of them. If they just keep on planting, they are eventually going to deplete a stack of seeds, and then they are going to get the bread or get the wheat, turn it into bread, and that might not be the thing that you want. So yeah, that's why I'm using this whole setup right here. And the minecart is just gonna go back and forth, picking up anything that happens to be on the ground there in terms of wheat, and then depositing it over here. This can be working out fully automatic, but for the sake of this video, I decided to add an override switch so I can turn the entire thing off if I don't want it to go. Could always, of course, attach a timer or something like that. The way this works in principle is that the minecart is set up like an item sorter. So it has some items that you want in the first stack, and then a specific amount of items in the slots behind it, just so that you get a certain amount of signal strength out of it. Right below it, there's a slab with another hopper minecart glitched into it. And that one looks pretty much like this. First slot needs to be a full stack of whatever item you want to filter, and everything else just needs to be blocked off. We are not taking any signal output here, so the easiest and most reliable way is just to get some non-stackable items, put them in there, and you are good to go. Below that is another hopper, but that's really nothing special. It's just being locked by an adjacent torch. And yeah, as soon as you get a signal from the minecart being on the detector rail, that's gonna go into the comparator, and if it reaches a signal strength of 3, it's gonna go into the target block, which of course then deactivates the torch on the other side, allowing items to pull through. And as soon as this hopper starts pulling items out of the hopper minecart above, that one in return can pull items out of the hopper minecart that's actually going around collecting all the things. I went down a few items with the filter items over here compared to a regular item filter. I think that's usually more like 41 if you want to go really low on the first stack. But it's a bit inconsistent with how many items are being pulled out, because minecart hopper speeds are different to regular hoppers, and I didn't want to risk losing the items in the first slot, because at that point the minecart will pick up anything, and once it gets something new in the first slot, it's gonna be filtering for that, which isn't really what we want. So to now show that thing in action before we go to a building tutorial, I can just basically drop down a lot of stuff in here. I can send the minecart through, it's gonna be picking up all of that, but none of the seeds. So if it's coming back, it's gonna be disappearing the wheat right here. And now it should be pretty full. And as you can see, the first slot is getting depleted. And shortly before it reaches 0, it's going to then stop and go back out again. Just like that. Going on and on and on, I made sure to include a little thing over here that keeps it locked up as long as there are too many items in here. So the fence gate can close if it gets a signal strength of 3 or above up here. But as soon as the hopper minecart is empty enough, it's gonna go out again. And yeah, with the lever I can basically override the entire thing to keep it in its place and not have it go around all the time. Might be worthwhile making a timer for this so that it only goes out like every 4 minutes or something. After 5 minutes any new items will be despawning, so 4.5 minutes or so should still be fine. And you could also very much expand the entire farm. After all, in just regular usage, you shouldn't really see the minecart getting full, even though it can only pick up slightly less than 1 stack at this point. So let's talk about how to build this contraption now. In order to do so, you need 2 hopper minecarts, 1 hopper, 1 fence gate, 1 detector rail, also a few regular rails, especially for anything else that you want to build there. Bit of redstone dust, 2 torches, 1 comparator, 1 temporary piston. You're not gonna even keep it there, but you're gonna need it to push other things into place. A few slabs, a few regular building blocks as well, of course, and over a stack of wheat, plus also a few other filter items, and also 1 target block. So if you have stuff already set up, it might be looking something like this. You may have, let me grab another type of track for this. You may have the exit point of your farm already prepared, or maybe you have prepared a way with how the entire thing is going to work out with your hopper system. So this might be your inputs, so you're either building above the hopper or you're building next to the rails. No matter how you start, it's gonna be pretty much starting with the hopper. That needs to go above whatever hopper you have set up already, or 2 blocks down from the rail and 1 block over into the direction that the car would be moving, or the cart I mean. Let's put a hopper down like this, pointing into the adjacent block. And now we need a temporary block on top of this, but for that we also need to remove that rail real quick. And this is where your first minecart is going to go. So now we need a minecart with hopper. Put that on top of the rail that we just placed. Get rid of the rail. And now we want to make sure that the entire thing isn't moving anymore. So I'm just encasing it in slabs all the way around. And in one direction, adjacent to the slab, we need another one going further out. And this is actually where our temporary piston is going to go. Because now we need to push this whole thing 1 block further in, so that we actually have one of the top slabs in the same place as the minecart. So I'm going to be going with torches here. And just quickly activating that. So this is now looking nice and cozy. So if you have your incoming track right here, you will now want to place down the detector rail. And that actually needs to go up against the block, but we can place the rail right here and then add a block behind it. And now we just need another temporary rail so that we can tune this into an angle. Putting another block on top just to be a stopper for the minecart. And we can also put down the fence gate above the last piece of regular track going into the system. Of course, with how everything is set up here, we would also need to power the tracks. That shouldn't be interfering with the system that we're building here, at least if we do it correctly. Right now this would be a problem. Need to maybe go a bit further out and power from here. So something like that. Okay, now basically this is the holding area for the hopper minecart, and since we already have the fence gate in place, I might as well place down the top minecart. But before we do anything of the item sorting type, we need to go back below. 1 block adjacent to the one that the hopper is at, so either this side or the other one. We want to place down the target block add a torch to it, and that's basically blocking off everything from going through. So now we could set up our item sorting system. And with that, it's pretty straightforward. First up, we need to take care of the lower hopper minecart. Add a stack of whatever item we want to filter down below. And I'm also going to be adding non-stackable items to the rest of hopper here, of hopper minecart, just to make sure that nothing else can get in here. You can also use renamed items, but this is absolutely sure that nothing can go wrong. You should also have renamed stackable items for the thing up above, which is going to get one stack of, or a few items of whatever you want to filter in the first slot, and for every additional slot, first up we want to place down something to block all of these, and ideally these items should be renamed so that they don't easily stack with something else. And the second slot is now going to get 38 of whatever item you chose. And if I now go and put in more, I mean, of course I've forgotten the rest of the sorter, so that's not working right now. Let's go and add a comparator over here. Have another block here that it's pointing into. And from there, going down towards the target block. Going down one step right here, another one over here, and then just another further down so that we can have one bit of redstone dust adjacent, and then going back up here to just go into the block. And now this is going to allow the sorting of items coming through until this one is nearly depleted. And at that point you've basically done everything correctly for the item sorter itself. Just gonna turn on the torch in a moment. Just like that. And I always end up clicking on the fence gate for some reason. But yeah, we still have a few items left in here. With 38 in the second slot, we usually go down to something between 2 and 4 items. Just don't want to deplete it at all because that would break the entire system. If you now want to also automate the system a bit, you can add another 2 blocks over here. Add redstone dust on top of everything and make sure to have another full block on top of this redstone dust. Just so that these 2 lines are not intercepting anymore. So basically when you now get a signal from the comparator, it goes into the block and that powers both sides of the redstone line here separately. If you don't do that and you end up adding a lever like I did in the other example, the signal could now jump over from here to down there, and that would turn off the torch and deplete all of the item sorter stuff that we just added. But yeah, if you want to automatically close and open the gate, just come onto the other side of this block here, add a torch, add another 2 items right here. And might as well go with something like that. I've done it slightly differently over there, and oh yeah, the main difference is that on that version I basically went 1 block higher above, and that's why that's looking different. There's always multiple ways to do it, and I just confused myself because I knew it wasn't looking the same way as it did over there. But that's basically the entire system. Just make sure that your minecart doesn't go off track as it did right here, because it's gonna be a bit tougher to get it back that way. And yeah, instead of 3 dust up here and the torch and everything, you can also just put a timer directly into the gate in order to then only have a trigger of every now and again, just as often as you want to. But that's basically the entire thing. And from what I've seen over here, it's also working out quite well. Of course, this is a very small farm, and for the farm itself, I mean, you really just have this entire setup in the middle, 9 blocks around it, with farmland, 1 farmer in there that has its whole inventory filled up with seeds. And below that, you want to cover everything with rails and just have it go around one time and send it back to the unloading station that we just built. And the entire thing is going to work out pretty well, I guess. At least according to my testing, yeah. Anyways, that's gonna be it from me for this video. I hope you enjoyed, I hope you found it useful, and see you guys next time with whatever else I can come up with. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.